Welcome to Tranquility. Home to Scotland's only true Wild West town. Scotland has a long association with the American Wild West. In fact, 26 of the now 46 American presidents can claim Scottish heritage. Mass Scottish migration to the Americas began soon after the Jacobite defeat of 1745. It continued thereafter as a result of the Highland clearances, or Scots simply just looking for a better way of life. Many Highlanders and Lowlanders, forced to seek new beginnings, set sail for the new American colonies in search of fresh beginnings. In the first official United States Census of 1790, it was found that over 30% of the inhabitants of Virginia and the Carolinas were of Scottish descent. With many years of droving and rustling skills from Scotland's unforgiving landscape, many Scots made ideal candidates to drive livestock across the new and wild lands, taking on the role of what we recognise today as cowboys. One modern-day Scots pioneer didn't choose the wilds of North Dakota to settle. He decided to build his Wild West dream in the northeast of Scotland and created his very own town of Tranquility.
People often ask me, why on earth did I do this? Why did I go to the trouble of building a Wild West town here in Scotland? Well, my generation grew up watching cowboy movies on TV. You could see them almost every night of the week.
You can't take all three of us. Wrong.
I was fascinated by the whole thing. Now, a lot of people, as they grow older, they lose interest in Western movies and so on, but I never lost interest, and I always had the ambition to go over to the States when I'd saved up enough money and go and visit some of these places that I'd seen in the big movies.
Tranquility, tranquility.
Back in the 70s, I was a member of a Wild West reenactment group based in Aberdeen, which was called the Aberdeen Gunfighters. But after the Dunblane incident, they decided the climate wasn't right and it was closed down.
Tranquility.
So it was November 2005, I think it would have been. And I got in touch with an old member of the Aberdeen Gunfighters Club, and he said yes, he would love to help me get the ball rolling. Once we'd built this saloon, the building we're in just now, well, I hadn't quite finished it, but I said, do you think it's time we should tell the press what we're doing? And I just sent an email to the Press and Journal and basically forgot about it. It was on a Sunday afternoon. And of course, that was just the start, because after that, virtually every newspaper, every national newspaper in the country wanted to hear the story. The TV stations, and then international folk from abroad, like New Zealand and Australia, USA and Canada in particular. I believe I was even an Irish broadcasting station got in touch as well. So that was the saloon, and it's always really been at the heart of the town. And then the next one, we thought, Well, we'll need to build a jail next. I think it's always good to see the bad guys getting marched out of the saloon and having to walk the whole length of the town up to the jail. So the bank was next, and it had been robbed so many times you can imagine. You can't depend on the wagon supplies coming in all the time, so general store was built, and as the name suggests, it would supply all manner of things, from weapons to food, clothing, mail order catalogue. And the amazing thing was that the time it took for these goods to arrive is about the same as it is nowadays with the modern courier service.
By 2016, news of the town had spread far and wide. That year, the Telegraph Office received a wire from Channel 4's Shed of the Year.
Somebody had told them about us, and they asked me to send them photographs and tell them a little bit of history like what I'm doing just now. I think that about 10,000 folk submitted their sheds, but you had to go down to, I think it was Maidstone in Kent, where it was like a barn, which is, again, it was all set up. Now, between you and me, we wouldn't broadcast this, but I don't think she said you mustn't tell the media anything about this, because anyway, the next thing I did, I think it was a Press and Journal again or something, I said, we're in the running for the Shed of the Year or something. And of course, one thing leads to another. So that's the beginnings.
Inspired by their successful TV screen appearances, the group set about creating their very own haggis westerns industry to produce films for the big screen.
We have 3 public shows a year, usually in the spring, the autumn, and one round about July the 4th, American Independence Day. And then one day, I had just a pretty basic video camera. How about we actually try and film some of the reenactments that we do? Well, everybody was delighted with the results when they were watching themselves afterwards. And so it was just a natural progression, apart from just filming the reenactment stories. And I finally got in touch with a director, cameraman down in Southampton, the south of England. And he was the first guy who travelled all the way up to help us make 2 movies, Return of a Son and Trail to Tranquility, which is on YouTube. So that went great. And then after a wee while, when again I appealed for another experienced cameraman that would maybe help us, William Sampson from Central Scotland, it was always his dream to do a Western, you know. The first one he made for us was Band of Outlaws, and then he made his own one, Attack on Tranquility. So that's how the movie side of it came into being.
So Ali, how's the town coped with the pandemic?
Well, it's been pretty tough these last few months. Excuse me, Bruce, got business to attend to.
Yeah, yippee, yeah.
Right, Michael, what do you think you're doing?
Oh, Marshall, Dr. Barr's travelling medicine show just left town, and he's been selling a cure for this pandemic. It's called Copper Brew. Go on, take a look. Go on.
Michael, sometimes you take things too far. Don't you know this isn't for real?
Now, Marshall, I've been living for 9 months in this lockdown. I really need this. Now, you want to see it's for real? Hand it over.